if you wish, you can put one or both of your hands on your heart for a moment to anchor there, to land there. For this is where heaven meets earth within you. It is the door through which we speak, the window through which we see. At this moment of your time, for dear friends, we are here and we thank you for the invitation of the co-creation of this here and now. Now, we thank you for this gathering, for the pillar of light that you have already intended and co-created previous to this transmission. It really supports the connection from all of us to all of you. Because make no mistake, we are speaking with you much more directly than it appears to be through this channel before you. You could say that in fact even the audio translation that you are witnessing in what you call your physical dream is quite behind compared to the speed of vibration that we are communicating to each and every single one of you in already. So if you feel excited about receiving more on your own terms in that sense, you are warmly welcome always throughout this transmission to close your eyes, remain seated that way, and feel and sense and tune in with what is being given to you in the silences between the words, in the spaces between the sentences, as we reach out to you in these moments too. And we thank you for this interaction and co-creation, because this is never a one-way stream. We learn from you as much as you may perhaps feel you might learn from us. And for that we thank you. Now, the theme of this particular event, as has been announced or suggested by us for all of you, has been titled The Weaving of the Web. And by that, we mean the way you choose to manifest in your physical reality dream. The weaving of that web is quite an intrinsic game, and very subtle and very nuanced. And because it is so intrinsic and subtle and nuanced, we are very excited to share some more words about this particular process, about this idea, so that all of you in these very, very exciting times on your physical dream roller coaster may choose to fine-tune your own version of reality with this information if you wish. We're just gonna start with this so that you have the fundament of what we're taking as a base to move from and build upon. That formula is to follow your highest excitement the best you can, as far as you can possibly take it, with a zero insistence as to what the outcome might be, overall maintaining a positive attitude towards that what is manifesting around you whilst you're doing this. Now, that positive attitude is quite key into the allowing of the self to perceive a higher degree of that positive synchronicity in your own version of reality. The idea of following your highest excitement is a matter of feeling. So when we say your highest excitement, we do not mean what your mind thinks might be the most exciting thing because of calculations or what you've seen other people do and seems exciting for them, even though obviously and of course there can be such a thing as being genuinely inspired in that sense. But what we have overall observed on your planet is a very popular pitfall, is that the mind wants something which isn't necessarily the thing that truly excites you the most. The picture built around it by the rational mind is what may seem to make it as if it could be exciting. Now, the only thing to figure that out for yourself, obviously, is to see if you can allow yourself to explore into that direction and continue to keep your feelers out, to keep your antennas elongated, and to tune in with yourself back and forth, to be very, very consciously aware of how it is you feel. When you feel genuine excitement, there are no question marks involved. So when you ask a child, what are you most excited about right now? What is it that you wish to do? and they say, we wish to go play outside, and there is a zero, you could say, interval, time-wise, between the question and the answer, then you know that's the direct alignment. Usually, the thing that excites you the most doesn't require much thinking. When it does require much thinking, you're usually overanalyzing. You're not really tapping into the highest excitement. You're building a concept, and that's your first clue to mirror back to yourself what it is that you're dealing with. Now, we will share with you some tips and tricks, in that sense, some tools that you can choose to use, if you wish, in your own following of your highest excitement. First of all, we would like to remind each and every one of you that your excitement doesn't have to be a lifelong career. That it can be very, very small, and often, in fact, even begins that way and carries on to be that way fundamentally within and throughout your life. So as you're sitting right now in your chair, as an example, tune in with your body. We're assuming you're here because you're following your excitement, so we've got that out of the way. Now you're here. Do you feel you sit in the most comfortable way you could possibly sit? Could you adjust your body just a tiny, tiny bit so that you feel even more comfortable? How does the body feel? Take a nice deep breath. Don't hold your breath. You can't do anything wrong. Don't think about how other people might be checking on how you're sitting. It will be perfect for you, only you know. Nobody else can tell you. You have that relationship to your body. You know your own excitement. You know your energy frequency of relaxation. You know when you're comfortable. And just giving yourself this tiny little moment of readjustment, that's where following your highest excitement begins. And say you were at home and you felt like having a cup of tea. When that thought shoots through your mind quickly while you're working on the computer, we'd say following your highest excitement is getting up, making that cup of tea with your full attention. Because whatever was going on with you and the computer, whatever you were choosing to do there, in that moment is less relevant. And whatever was going on there, perhaps you even felt a little stuck in whatever you were doing. And then going for that cup of tea may just clear the rational mind's point of view enough, or distract it enough for some other ethic window, you could say, to open up and to allow the inspiration to pour in that you were craving while you were sitting behind the computer, working, answering emails, whatever. The idea is that your impulses, in that sense of what it is you feel you need, what your body is calling you to give it, in a sense, whether it is a midday nap or a sip of water or going to the bathroom because you really need to go. Giving yourself these things in the moment you feel them will build a cellular knowing within your system of feeling grounded, of feeling at home, of feeling safe, of knowing that you are allowing life to flow through you however it may choose to manifest. And loving that, no matter what it looks like. And that's where the optimism comes in. Now, within your psychology, you teach each other and you learn about the idea of the persona, self in that sense, which is constructed of the rational mind, the conscious self, the subconscious, and what you might perhaps call to or refer to as the superconscious or the higher self. Now, all of these are woven in with each other as well. And that is a very beautiful web that is being woven there. The interaction between all of these little layers and how they impact your version of reality. The rational mind or the conscious layer may have a thought about something, and it doesn't matter whether that thought is right or wrong in your understanding of these ideas. The subconscious mind will take from the idea the feeling state. A child may observe an interaction that is full of resistance between another person and a dog. And a child, in observing that incident, maybe once, maybe multiple times, may imprint its own subconscious mind with the idea that all dogs are evil. This is a subconscious belief. And as long as that belief does not get revisited by the conscious mind, it will leave an energy pattern imprint on their version of reality, and they will see proof again and again and again of the fact that dogs are evil. They will not notice dogs that are cute. They may notice them, but then there may still be an underlying belief that is cautious, that remains, you could say, on their toes when it comes to being in close proximity to any one of these animals. So what we're saying is, in the following of your highest excitement, what you allow yourself to do is to weave on a much more conscious layer the subconscious to the level of the conscious, so that you can see what's going on there. In the following of your highest excitement, you will, because nature has coded you to do so, in a sense. You have been wired to allow unconditional love to flow through you in this way, because you love yourself so much from a soul point of view, from source, from all that is, that carries you and everything that exists from unconditional love. You have been wired in such a way that as you follow your joy, as you follow your impulses of excitement, whatever is still hiding in that subconscious layer of the persona self total will rise to the surface gently. Gently. It won't come as a shock. It will be something that you become aware of with an insight or a sudden profound knowingness, where you realize, whoa, wait a minute. I see a pattern here that has been going on, perhaps reaching back all the way into what you call your childhood, as you create the past from the now and use it in your storyline of your time-space reality. The unraveling of that pattern so that your web can become more conscious as a whole is a joyful adventure, and it becomes more accessible to those that act on their excitement. When you feel, for instance, inspired to go on a drawing workshop, it may very well be that you're not luring yourself into that direction necessarily for laying the foundation for a wonderful drawing career in the future. It may be needed that you go there because once there at the workshop you will meet a person that will talk to you in a specific way, that will allow you to feel really, really open and transparent with them, so that you can share and build a friendship and who knows more. It may be because you had a soul quote-unquote agreement, which is an open agreement always. These little agreements are always open agreements. They fill themselves in. You draw into yourself. You allow to unfold before you in your manifest reality. All the agreements, whether they be with humans, with animals, with circumstances, with multidimensional entities such as ourselves, from your perspective that is, with locations, with jobs, with houses, with countries, you name it. All of these potentials will flow, quote unquote, to you much more effortlessly, because these are always things that align with you, that are in alignment with you and your higher self. It will be effortless for you to allow that to be embodied by you. And this is what people mean when they're talking about up or downstream. You can tune in with circumstances, invitations, and what have you, whether they are upstream or downstream for you. And downstream means, again, looping back to the beginning of this conversation, the immediate yes. The immediate yes, I want to do this. Yes, I feel excited about this. Yes, I'm honestly curious about this. Maybe I can't immediately figure out how it will unfold practically, but the desire, the immediate curiosity, the creative engagement is there, yes. And to follow that in a way that feels accessible to you. You do not need to push to reach accessible, little side note. To follow that lead in a way that feels accessible to you will bring you the automatic next step and will unpack for you, will reveal to you why it is that you lured yourself into that direction. Whether it was meeting another friend, coming to overhear a conversation between two other people, and then realizing that's what I actually want to do, because you can always change your mind. You're free to change your course. You can always reweave the web. Whatever you feel in that moment excites you the most will lead you, will guide you into the direction of least resistance and the clearing of anything that might still be hiding in, again, the subconscious levels of your beingness. Now, the subconscious, as you call it, again, triggers manifestation around you. This is your cleaning process, you could say. In other words, whatever you choose to suppress, you will see more of in your physical dream reality, in order to give your conscious mind an opportunity to deal with it, to embrace it, to transform it, if you will. Now, that may seem like a harsh way to learn, in a sense, because there's no escaping from that. There isn't. You're right. But that is actually a result of unconditional love. Because only unconditional love would remind you again and again and again and again and again and again and again of where there is room for expansion. It would be not love if it would be okay with you staying in the comfort zone, not looking at it and just leaving it there to fester. Because that doesn't actually help you forward on your path, in your journey of spiritual expansion in that sense, in your growth of a soul. So you will give yourself, out of unconditional love, all possible opportunities to learn, to breathe, to be, to enjoy. And whenever you encounter what you call resistance, redefining it as a positive challenge, immediately just by redefining your observation of what you see with the conscious observing mind, lifts the load from the idea, the illusion of something being an obstacle, keeping you stuck, keeping you down. These are not definitions that assist you in your spiritual expansion whatsoever. They assist you in the sense that if you repeat them long enough, you will get very tired with them. And that's a good thing, because then that energy frequency of frustration will wake you up to the degree where you understand, oh, wait a minute, maybe the idea is for me to actually face this, to engage with it, to dance with it. And the moment you reach out your hand for a wonderful dance with that, whichever you called your obstacle beforehand, will then immediately transform in energy and become relatable, something that you can integrate, that you will remember, realize and remember, has always been a part of you, just been wanting to ask your loving attention. The subconscious mind always gives its loving attention to whatever ideas, whether they benefit you or not. The conscious mind feeds it. one of the strongest moments, you could say, within the unfolding of your day-to-day life, where you connect in that way or reach out from the conscious to the subconscious, is the moment when you go to sleep. Sleep is the doorway to the subconscious. It is the overlapping phase wherein the rational mind's points of view and beliefs become tangible to a degree where you can feel in your resting body with what type of energy you're falling asleep with. You all know you can fall asleep exhausted, you can fall asleep satisfied. Nevertheless, even if your body is exhausted, but you can also feel exhausted from stories that you've been telling yourself about failure or not getting or not achieving something in your life. And then you will feel that energy in your body as well. And you may even be aware of the lower energy frequency that you then take into your dream life, into your night, into your sleeping state. And this is a powerful moment that you can take advantage of if you wish. Because realize, please, if you will, that it is by the point of view of the conscious mind and the feeling, the emotion, the energy in motion that comes with that idea that you imprint a subconscious mind. So if a person has a thought in their conscious level of awareness that something just must be able within their reality, for instance, they are an inventor and they're strongly striving to create a particular type of product or a means for free energy, what have you. As long as they continue to tell themselves this must be possible one way or another, I can't see exactly how, but it must be, it just must be, I feel it. I'm choosing to feel that way about this challenge. Then it's that feeling that gets imprinted upon the subconscious within that person. And while they sleep, the subconscious becomes a beacon of the energy frequency of knowing it just can be done. It can be done. There must be a reality where it can be done. And they will shift and shift and shift and shift while they're sleeping, not thinking of anything. Closer and closer to the reality wherein that invention, that idea, that free energy concept suddenly becomes manifest. So this is why, before you fall asleep, invite yourself to play with the feeling energy sensation that is in your system as you review the day within your mind. If there is anything in that day that has been nagging a little bit, that has a lower energy frequency, the observation of, for instance, an instant on the street where you saw another person having a challenge with perhaps yet another person, being in an argument or a traffic incident, what have you. Something that startled you in the observation of it, but that you weren't completely a part of in this example. Just that, and whatever you were thinking about that specific moment of your day, may drag you down a little bit when you rethink of it later. Oh, that was a scary moment. Now, it's very useful for you to get to know the reasoning principles of your persona mind, the rational mind. How have you trained yourself to look at such things? When you see two people fighting, what is it that you think? Do you think, oh, that's a very sad thing that's happening over there? Or, ooh, I hope that turns out well. Which is still a declaration of fear, because hope implies doubt. What is your definition of a situation like that? And on a grander scale in your in your society right now. We know there are many examples that you can just pick and choose from right now. You only have to turn on your television to see what is your instant response to such observations. If you are, of course, excited about investigating this deeper within yourself, you can pick and choose from that if you don't immediately find something in your private life, and if there is nothing there, we congratulate you. So the idea is, observe one of these incidences that may seem challenging. Let's say in the societal beliefs that you may choose to feed each other. Within one of those cliche circumstances, what is it that your mind chooses to believe to be true? If you choose to believe that it is a sad thing that two people are having an argument, you're not doing yourself a favor. You're skipping over completely in that moment the opportunity that these two people are giving each other by expressing themselves freely. Now, by the volume of their voices, you may indicate that whatever is being expressed needed expressing perhaps a little bit sooner and has been under pressure for quite a while. But nonetheless, it's being expressed right now, isn't it? So you could look at people having an argument as a little celebration. Oh, something is really getting cleared over there. I'm happy for the opportunities that these two are giving each other right now to really get to know each other and to see the observations that they were keeping silent within themselves for so long, which may have been completely off. And now they're interacting, now they're being transparent, now maybe not in such a subtle way, maybe not within the picture frame that society likes to have of a romantic relationship or a friendship or what have you, but they're communicating. So you could see doors opening, every single person that shouts at another person, you could see a door opening, go, yay, good for you. So when you end on such a note, you may find yourself smiling at people arguing. But you will find paradoxically, most likely, that if that becomes your, you could say, fundamental belief regarding the idea of arguments, you will no longer attract the idea of arguments in your version of reality. Because you've taken from it the most profound positive impact that you could take from it. And you're using it in your life. You have integrated it in that way in your life. So as you go by your day before you fall asleep, and you find little snippets in your day that seem to be a little sharp around the edges, and you round it off with other definitions, with new angles of perception, you will fall asleep so light. You will fall asleep spotlessly, you could say. And your subconscious will flow and stream with that as you begin to imprint it with new information. And as that becomes your conscious pattern, whatever remains in the subconscious that wasn't, in that sense, benefiting you, then will smooth out. So there is a wonderful weaving of the web, ongoing, in your registering throughout the daytime of what you observe and believe to be true, and in the getting to know of your mind. What do you fundamentally believe to be true about that? We will give you one more example. Cultural traditions such as Christmas and the idea of Santa Claus, or for any one of you in the Netherlands, Sinterklaas, since this is the time of the year where all of these things begin to play again. Now, all of you in this room have grown up to understand that the ideas of Santa Claus or Sinterklaas are storylines that you have been told and that weave in with the idea of receiving gifts. Now, all of you at one point in your lives learned from a friend or a parent or who have you that that particular individual doesn't really exist. Now, there's roughly two ways of responding to this. You can be really, really happy in the realization that the gifts that you received previously from individual mentioned earlier, Sinterklaas or Santa Claus, that these gifts actually came from your parents. And it may give you an extra reason to love your parents or caretakers or whomever fulfilled that role potentially in your childhood, if they did at all. Or you can choose to feel betrayed, lied to. Why? And focus on that. There's a very significant energy frequency, obviously, between these two ways of responding. Similarly, we would like to leave you with this particular example as a final one. Within your society today, a lot of things are coming to light. Some of these things may seem not to be beneficial for mankind. But remember, everything that occurs in what you understand to be your conscious reality dream has been invited by yourself, and the result is the result of, the effect of, the causes that you individually and collectively planted in your collective and individual subconscious mind. And it is reflecting back to you that which still needs to be seen. You can respond to that by feeling betrayed. You can respond to that with celebration, by seeing potential of what this may bring to you. And in thinking about other people, if you see, like we said before, people fighting, see them where you will love to see them. And this goes for every single individual on your planet, whether they may be your friend or foe. See them where you would love to see yourself. Wish upon them that which you wish upon yourself. Wherever they are, however they choose to express, within the seeming intensification of polarity that you have been playing with recently throughout this year, more profoundly, in the clearing of the layers, in the lightening of your energy frequencies, together and individually. Remember, you asked for the stage. You can shine as the star in your storyline. It is serving you if you choose to see how it can. Play, think outside of the box, and you will find as you allow yourself to do that in your daytime with your waking mind, every time a little smile comes onto your face, even if your rational mind says, well, that would be quite crazy if things would go like that, but it does make me feel good to think of it this way. Stick with that. This isn't a matter of drilling. This is a matter of surrender. Because you will be choosing to go less and less upstream as you play and as you allow yourself to think outside of the box and to rewrite those ways of observing that are no longer serving you anymore. And as you rewrite those ways of observing, and your definitions change and they become softer around the edges, you will see that you fall asleep a lot more lightly, a lot more at ease, a lot more peaceful. And as you sleep, you don't even need to remember your dreams. There's nothing for you to do. There is only the surrender, the falling back into the knowingness that all is well, all is as it should. Everything you need is being given to you always. And from that, you'll be weaving a whole new web, a lot more transparent, a lot more conscious, a lot more accessible to the rational mind, to enjoy, to not have to battle. And with that, we would like to invite you to a dance of open question and answer, if you wish, or statements, whatever you would like to share with us. Thank you.